Good afternoon and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our London studio. I'm Chris Taylor. U.S. President Donald Trump has indicated that talks between the United States and Iran could resume within the next 2 days, with a stronger likelihood of being held in Islamabad. Speaking to the New York Post, Trump praised Pakistan's leadership and signaled he may personally participate in the next round. His remarks follow initial negotiations in Islamabad that ended without a formal agreement but managed to sustain diplomatic momentum. Pakistan is continuing back-channel efforts, supported by regional partners, to bring both sides back to the table. Meanwhile, a fragile ceasefire brokered earlier this month remains under pressure, with tensions rising over a potential U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports ahead of the April 22nd deadline. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has revealed that Washington and Tehran are engaged in their most significant high-level talks in nearly 50 years. Speaking at the University of Georgia, Vance said meaningful progress was made during recent discussions held in Pakistan. However, President Trump is reportedly pushing for a comprehensive, grand bargain rather than a limited agreement. Vance stressed that any final deal must ensure Iran never acquires nuclear weapons and ends what he described as state-sponsored terrorism. While no agreement has yet been signed, he confirmed the ceasefire is holding and expressed optimism about Iran's potential integration into the global economy. Let's go live now to Islamabad, where our correspondent Sarah William is following developments. Sarah, what's the latest?
Thank you, Chris. Officials here in Islamabad say Pakistan's role as a mediator remains central, with diplomatic channels actively engaged behind the scenes. Sources indicate preparations are underway for a possible second round of talks within days, with heightened security and coordination expected. There is cautious optimism among policymakers, although concerns persist over regional stability, particularly with the looming April 22nd deadline. Analysts believe Pakistan's continued engagement could be critical in preventing further escalation and sustaining the fragile ceasefire.
Thank you, Sarah William. Reporting from Islamabad, tensions have also escalated between Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and U.S. President Donald Trump following a heated exchange over nuclear rhetoric. Meloni strongly criticized Trump's recent remarks, calling for restraint and responsible leadership. In response, Trump accused Meloni of underestimating the threat posed by Iran acquiring nuclear weapons, warning it could endanger Italy. Meloni countered by pointing out that while several nations possess nuclear weapons, only the United States has ever used them. She urged de-escalation and warned against what she described as reckless nuclear threats. Back home, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has taken President Asif Ali Zardari into confidence regarding the ongoing U.S.-Iran talks hosted by Pakistan. The premier also briefed the president on his upcoming visits to Saudi Arabia and Turkey, which are aimed at advancing broader peace efforts. Pakistan recently facilitated high-level dialogue between Washington and Tehran, the first such engagement in decades. While no agreement was reached, sources suggest both sides may return to Islamabad later this week for another round of talks. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishak Dar has held a telephone conversation with Romania's Foreign Minister Oana Silvia Toiu, reaffirming both countries' commitment to strengthening bilateral ties. During the call, the Romanian side appreciated Pakistan's role in facilitating the recent Islamabad talks. Both leaders welcomed the growing positive momentum in relations and agreed to expand cooperation across multiple sectors. They also discussed regional and global developments, emphasizing dialogue and diplomacy as key to peaceful conflict resolution. Dar reiterated Pakistan's commitment to constructive engagement with international partners to promote stability and shared prosperity. In the Middle East, Israel and Lebanon have agreed to begin direct negotiations following high-level talks in Washington. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio described the development as a historic opportunity for peace. The two countries, technically at war for decades, held their first such engagement since 1993. However, tensions remain high, with Hezbollah launching rocket attacks during the talks and opposing the negotiations. The United States is pushing for de-escalation to protect the fragile ceasefire linked to the broader Iran conflict. Both sides have termed the discussions constructive and agreed to continue talks at a mutually decided time and venue. And finally, the head of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, has warned that the global economy could see a rapid recovery if the ongoing Middle East conflict ends within 2 weeks. She cautioned that prolonged fighting would worsen supply disruptions, with around 20% of global oil and gas already affected. Meanwhile, the United States has decided not to renew temporary easing of sanctions on Iranian oil exports. Reports also suggest that European countries are preparing a post-war plan to secure shipping routes through the Strait of Hormuz without relying on U.S. support. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.